everybody, my name is EKaufer, and today I'll be discussing the benefits that social media can have with bringing people together, as well as what our role is in making that happen. There are a number of groups of people in this world who struggle to make the connections with other people that are an essential part of the human experience. So my question, inspired by Edward Kessler's Social Media, the Movement of Ideas, and Jay McGonigal's TED Talk, Gaming to Make a Better World, is what effect can social media usage have on people who struggle to make meaningful connections? So first off, why would people want to focus on the digital world for communication? So, agoraphobia is best described as the avoidance of scenarios and situations which have a chance of causing stress and embarrassment that cannot be easily avoided. I believe the proper implementation of social media into these people's lives could be extremely beneficial to them. They would not have to go to public places to be around people. They could be around people, so to speak, while still staying in a place that they can easily get out of and easily avoid if it becomes too stressful. However, agoraphobia is relatively rare. Only 1 in 77 Americans have agoraphobia, and even smaller amount have what is considered severe agoraphobia. So, social media is obviously not only applicable to 1% of the population, and the reason why is because agoraphobia is not the sole reason why social media can be so prevalent. Social anxiety disorder has a far greater presence in society than agoraphobia, and with almost 10 times the cases of it, and 7 times more severe cases. However, they are both socially avoidant disorders, and as a result, I believe that the usage of the internet and social media to help as a form of therapy for them could be just as helpful for both. So, why would people have to rely on social media? So, in the past, any connection or relationship was required to leap the hurdle of location. You couldn't keep somebody up to date with your life without putting such an exhausting amount of time and effort into your friendship that it would begin to feel more like a chore than a choice. But now, with social media and technology and communication, these borders are almost completely negligible. And some people need these sorts of connections because they don't have enough connections in what you might call the real world. For example, if someone is, using Edward Kessler's example, a religious minority and can only practice with other people online. People who have sort of antisocial disorder, as I highlighted before. Or people that are victims of bullying and don't feel comfortable talking with friends around them and instead have to rely on people online to feel comfortable. Okay, so very often PTSD sufferers are told to think that wherever their trauma took place, they have to think of that place and where they are now as two completely different worlds. That's been an idea for a very long time. However, researchers found that line of thinking is actually quite detrimental. PTSD sufferers have found that speaking with other people about what happened and connecting with people and forming bonds with people has been very helpful to their recovery. By telling them that we should imagine their experiences that as something that did not actually happen, we are devaluing their trauma and telling them that we do not want to help them and will not listen to them. So there only is one world. So how do we make it a little bit bigger? If people don't have people that they feel comfortable talking about with, the internet is full of so many people with so many diverse backgrounds that there are bound to be people that have experienced similar situations, or at least feel comfortable listening to you and respecting what you've gone through. However, the internet is not some place where we are all untouchable. In fact, studies have found the internet to be extremely dangerous in some cases. Since the birth of social media, suicide rates have gone up worldwide, with a 35% increase in suicides in the United States since the year 2000. And the joint increase in suicide rate and internet usage is not just a coincidence. The internet opens people up to cyberbullying, where people feel completely safe to do whatever they want from behind a username. This sort of cyberbullying is extremely dangerous. Victims of cyberbullying are over twice as likely to commit suicide, and even people who commit acts of cyberbullying are at an increased risk of committing suicide, although not to the same degree. But is that the internet's fault? I don't think so. I think that the internet it's not malicious, it's not malevolent, it's an entirely neutral force at its core. Social media even has systems built in to prevent cyberbullying. People are capable of blocking each other, muting each other, reporting each other. Social media isn't the problem, we are. People decide what they post. We are entirely responsible for what the internet becomes. The internet is not malevolent, it's simply a megaphone for ideas. It's just unfortunate that so many of the ideas that we have yelled into that microphone have been ones of hate. But take away that megaphone, and those ideas are still there. Those people are still there. We should not be focusing on fixing the internet, we should be focusing on fixing how we use it. As well, the increasing suicide rates in the United States does not connect directly to internet usage. Both suicide rates and depression rates have been increasing for decades, and depression rates are not entirely caused by the internet. The past 5 years, there's been a 33% increase in diagnosed depression sufferers. People who suffer from depression, on average, score 27% lower on the Blue Cross Health Index. As suicide is always linked to depression or a low quality of life, I believe that we have found a far more likely culprit for increasing suicide rates than social media. In fact, social media is the perfect place to help with suicide prevention. The Suicide Prevention Resource Center believes social connectedness and interaction are essential parts of suicide prevention. And what is the purpose of social media? To connect people, to help them meet others, other people that they can call friends. Not only is social media not the monster we think it to be, it might help us slay the real monster. Right now, the fear that people have of social media is perfectly valid. Social media is not perfect. It is still a dangerous place for so many people. We should not aim to convince the sort of people that are afraid of it otherwise, but instead aim to prove them wrong. And that starts with everyday interaction with other people online. So not act as if you're anonymous. Act as if the whole world is watching you, and you might just be able to build a world that everyone can be a part of. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Eli. Eli, what information did you need before you really began your research and writing process? What was some of the initial information you began with?
One of the things I really wanted to focus on was just I need to figure out a lot of the social media usage and how prevalent it is in people's lives, because that's information that's very difficult to find steady statistics on. And since I had to find how substantial the number was, and as it was a very substantial number of people that use social media heavily, I decided that meant it could carry this essay and presentation by itself.
Great. And what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
I would say lean into the sort of discomfort and debatability of this entire discussion. It's the fact that today we've seen presentations that have both claim social media to be good and a problem. So I think that it's sort of, if you ignore that fact and you only use the other side as a way as something that you're designing to refute, then you are ignoring the actual importance of the message and the importance of this discussion.